I always thought betrayal felt like fire, like something that scorches you raw and leaves nothing standing. But when it finally came for me, it didn't feel fiery at all. It felt cold, an ice cold, the kind of cold that sinks deep under the skin and settles inside your bone. It happened in the middle of a beautifully decorated restaurant. White tablecloths, crystal glasses, polished silverware. 50 people gathered to celebrate my daughter's graduation. Laughter, clinking glasses, pride hanging in the air like perfume. And then, my husband stood up. Gregory raised his champagne glass, clearing his throat. Everyone expected a toast, a heartfelt speech, a proud father moment. Instead, he announced, very calmly, "I've decided to start a new life without you." The room froze. Forks stopped midair. Chairs stopped creaking. My daughter's face drained of color. And for a moment, I felt nothing. Not shock, not pain, just emptiness. He looked proud of himself, prepared, smug, as if he'd been rehearsing this moment for months. 50 pairs of eyes turned toward me, waiting for me to break. Waiting for the sobbing wife, the dramatic exit, the scene they could gossip about later. But I didn't break. Instead, I smiled. A soft, polite smile that made Gregory's eyebrows pinch with confusion. "Congratulations on your honesty," I said. Gasps fluttered through the room. I reached into my handbag. My fingers brushed the envelope I had placed there hours earlier. Thick, cream-colored paper, my handwriting on the front. I set it beside his plate. "What's this?" he asked, the arrogance already faltering. "Something for you to read later," I said. Across the room, Cassandra, his much younger girlfriend, shifted in her chair, guilt crawling across her face like a shadow caught in the wrong light. I turned to my daughter, kissed her forehead gently. "This day is still about you, sweetheart." Then I stood, smoothed the front of my dress, and faced the stunned room. "Please enjoy your meal," I said. "I wish you all a lovely afternoon." Silence followed me like a ghost as I walked out. When the heavy restaurant doors shut behind me, I finally took a full breath. And then, I heard the doors slam open again. Gregory's voice, frantic. Nothing like the confident announcement he'd just made. "Bianca, what is this? What have you done?" His panic echoed behind me. He didn't know it yet, but that envelope contained the first piece of a revenge I'd crafted for months. The kind of revenge delivered not with rage, but with precision. Cold, quiet precision. "My name is Bianca Caldwell. I am 54 years old, and until that moment in the restaurant, I had been playing my role perfectly. Devoted wife, supportive mother, reliable backbone of our home. For 28 years, Gregory and I built a life together, or at least that's what I believe. He dreamed big, I made those dreams realistic. He jumped from idea to idea. I held steady so the ground didn't shake beneath us. 3 business ventures, 2 career changes, countless reinventions of himself. I supported everyone. I put my own ambitions on hold. My dream of opening a financial consultancy for women, set aside again and again for the sake of our future. But my daughter, Amelia, my sweet, brilliant Amelia, made it worth it. She was the joy of my life, a combination of her father's charisma and my practicality, a force from the moment she was born. That day was supposed to be hers, her graduation, her victory, her moment to shine. Yet Gregory hijacked it like he'd hijacked everything else lately. But here's what he didn't know. I had noticed the subtle signs long before the announcement. The secretive texts, the late nights working, the sudden changes in our joint accounts. I had spent 20 years managing our finances. Numbers talk, and these numbers were screaming. Small transfers at first, then larger ones. A new account in his name only. Expenses he couldn't justify. Still, I didn't confront him. Not yet. You learn a lot staying quiet. People reveal their true selves when they think you're not looking. And Gregory, he revealed everything. When I eventually saw their messages, his and Cassandra's, it wasn't the affair that broke me. It was the planning, their new life together, their beachfront fantasies, their timeline. They were going to wait until after Amelia's graduation. Then he would break free, as he put it. Break free. From what? A wife who carried his burdens for nearly 3 decades. But he made one fatal mistake. He forgot who I was. I wasn't just a wife. I was a financial professional for 30 years. I knew asset trails, legal structures, contract loopholes, and he forgot the very thing he insisted on. A prenuptial agreement, a simple document signed decades ago, long forgotten by him, but not by me. especially the hidden clause buried in Section 12. A clause tied to fidelity. A clause that did not expire. So when he planned his escape, I planned mine. Mine just happened to be sharper, quieter, and far more devastating. The first sign came one rainy Thursday. Gregory claimed he was working late, but his phone, left unlocked on the kitchen counter, told another story. A restaurant bill for two glasses of wine, a dessert I knew he hated but she apparently loved. I remember staring at the screen, my heartbeat strangely calm. No shaking hands, no tears, just stillness. That's when I understood. My marriage wasn't breaking. It had already broken. Another sign appeared in his wardrobe. New shirts, new cologne, a sudden obsession with his appearance. He began humming around the house, something he hadn't done in years. But whenever I asked what was making him so cheerful, he brushed me off like a child tugging at his. Then the nighttime whispers began. A soft voice, low laughter, the shuffle of footsteps as he moved to the back porch to talk privately. He forgot that the old wooden porch boards creaked every single time. Another sign. He told me we needed to tighten our belts for retirement. Yet somehow he was buying jewelry. Not for me. He booked business trips that didn't appear on our credit card. He worked weekends suddenly. He was living in our home, but completely outside of our life. The distance between us widened, quietly, steadily, brutally. One evening, as we sat in the living room, I tried a simple question. How was your day, Gregory? He didn't answer. He didn't even pretend to answer. He looked at his phone, smiled softly at a message, and walked out of the room. That was the moment I stopped trying to save what we had. Instead, I began to document every transfer, every receipt, every message, every lie. I collected them like threads, weaving them into a tapestry so detailed no court could ignore it. I spoke to attorneys quietly. I copied documents discreetly. I prepared filings he never imagined existed. And over time, something inside me shifted. Hurt became clarity. Clarity became determination. Determination became strategy. He thought he was playing a game he could win. But he didn't realize I had already started playing long before him. And I didn't lose. Everything clicked into place the night I found the suitcases, hidden in the back of our master closet. Packed, organized, ready. I touched one zipper, feeling a strange calm settle over me. He wasn't planning an affair. He was planning a departure, a dramatic separation, a public rejection, a performance, and he wanted to use our daughter's graduation as his stage. The next morning, I checked our home voicemail. An old habit. A leasing office had called, asking for Gregory to confirm details for an apartment application. And I froze. Apartment. The rep left enough information to connect the dots. He wasn't just leaving, he was moving in with her. Their messages confirmed it. Gregory. After the graduation, I'll tell her. The public setting will keep her calm. Cassandra. She won't see it coming. And then we can finally celebrate. Gregory. She trusts me completely. That's her weakness. His weakness was underestimating me. And Cassandra, she wasn't innocent either. She sent him links to beachfront property, photos of furniture she wanted, a ring design she might like one day. I printed everything, every text, every receipt, every transfer to his hidden account. And then I remembered something he certainly didn't. Section 12 of our prenuptial agreement, the fidelity clause that remains active for the duration of the marriage. He insisted on including it 28 years ago. To protect his future earnings, he never imagined it would one day protect me. My attorney nearly laughed when he read it. This is airtight, he said. He won't get the house. He won't get the investments. He won't get anything tied to marital assets. All his planning, all his spending on Cassandra, all his dreams of a new life, built on money he wasn't legally allowed to touch. So I filed the paperwork. Divorce, evidence, requests for financial freezes, custody of the home, all quietly, all before graduation day. And then I prepared the envelope, not with anger, not with heartbreak, but with the kind of steady resolve that forms when a person finally chooses themselves. He wanted a spectacle, but what he got was a reckoning. The morning of Amelia's graduation, I woke up before dawn. The sun hadn't risen yet, but my mind was clear, sharper than it had been in years. I placed the sealed envelope inside my handbag. Then I looked in the mirror. I didn't see the woman he thought he could walk over. I didn't see the naive wife he expected to humiliate. I saw someone reborn. When we arrived at the restaurant later that afternoon, Gregory was glowing, talking loudly, greeting guests with the energy of a man with a secret advantage. His hand brushed my back once. At a show, a performance, so I played along because I knew what was coming. When he stood up to speak, I even smiled. A small, calm smile that must have confused him all over again. And when he said the words, "I'm starting a new life without you," I felt the final thread snap. Not between us. That thread had snapped long ago. No, it was the thread tying me to the woman I used to be. The Bianca who stayed quiet. The Bianca who sacrificed. The Bianca who believed loyalty was a shield. That Bianca died the moment I placed the envelope beside his plate. Inside was everything: filed divorce documents, evidence of his affair, records of financial misconduct, the active prenuptial fidelity clause, notice of the court-approved account freeze. He expected a crying scene, a dramatic collapse, a wounded wife, but all he saw was my back as I walked away from him, calm, steady, certain, while he unraveled behind me. When he ran out of the restaurant shouting, it wasn't because he regretted losing me. It was because, for the first time in his life, he had lost control, and I had taken it back, piece by piece, quietly, legally, perfectly. Hours later, Gregory burst into our home, red-faced and shaking. He stormed into the living room where I sat with my laptop open, reviewing documents. "What is the meaning of this?" he shouted, waving the envelope like a weapon. "You served me with divorce papers today." "I thought the timing matched your plans," I replied calmly. "You know, starting your new life. You had no right. I had every right." His jaw clenched. "The prenup expired," he said. "Your lawyer will tell you that." I smiled. Actually, it didn't. Section 12, Fidelity Clause. Still active, still enforceable. His face drained of color. That was the moment he realized he wasn't holding the weapon. And I was. He sat heavily on the couch. "You can't do this to me." "I'm not doing anything to you, Gregory. You made your choices. I'm simply making mine." His phone buzzed, Cassandra. He ignored it. I raised an eyebrow. Trouble in paradise. He glared at me but didn't answer. Then I pulled out my phone and pressed play. His voice filled the room. "After the graduation, I'll tell her it's over. A public setting is better. She won't make a scene." Then Cassandra's voice. "And she has no idea about the money." Then Gregory again. A nunned. "Bianca trusts me completely. That's her weakness." He lunged forward, grabbing the phone. "You recorded us. That's illegal." "Not in Georgia. One-party consent." He froze. I stood and picked up my bag. "You have until tomorrow evening to remove your things from the house." "You're staying here?" he asked bitterly. "I am. You're the one who moved on, remember." "You'll regret this," he snapped. I paused in the doorway. "No, Gregory. For the first time in a long time. I won't." His phone buzzed again. He checked it and groaned. "What now?" I asked. Cassandra moved into the apartment already. But the leasing office, they said the application was denied due to credit issue. "What happened?" I smiled. "They called the house for verification. I handled it. And you sabotaged it." "No. I simply didn't fix your mistakes." He stared at me stunned. And for the first time, he saw the truth. I was not the quiet woman he thought I was. I was the storm he never noticed forming. The courtroom felt colder than the restaurant did that day. But this time, the cold worked in my favor. The judge reviewed our prenuptial agreement with sharp eyes. "Mr. Caldwell," she said, "your financial actions appear to violate multiple clauses." Gregory's attorney squirmed. I remained still. The judge continued. "The fidelity clause is valid. Joint accounts will remain frozen. The marital home remains with Mrs. Caldwell." Gregory's face collapsed. His dreams of a beachfront life, gone. His new apartment, gone. His financial safety net, gone. All replaced with consequences he designed himself. After court, he approached me quietly. "I made a terrible mistake," he said. "Is there any chance?" No, I answered gently. It's not anymore. And for once, he didn't argue. Months passed. My life shifted. I rented a small office, then a bigger one, then hired two associates. Caldwell Financial Transition became a lifeline for women starting over. Women like me, I helped them reclaim their futures, rebuild their confidence, rewrite their stories. The irony wasn't lost on me. Gregory tried to break me. Instead, he opened a door I'd been afraid to walk through. Amelia visited often. Mom, she said once, if Dad had just been honest, he would have kept half of everything. Sometimes, I told her, people can't see beyond the moment they want. Gregory's new life didn't last long. Cassandra left within weeks once she realized the money wasn't coming. His business declined without my guidance. Most of our friends drifted quietly to my side, but I didn't take pleasure in his downfall. Revenge wasn't about watching him fall. Revenge was about finally standing up again myself. One morning, I walked into my office, sunlight flooding the room. My desk, my name, my clients, my independence, my life, and for the first time since I was a young woman. And I felt whole, all because of one envelope. One decision, one moment when I chose myself. Some betrayals shatter you loudly. Mine shattered me quietly, like glass breaking underwater. But here's what I learned. Strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers. Not this time. Revenge doesn't have to be violent. Sometimes the most powerful revenge is simply refusing to fall apart when someone expects you to. I didn't destroy Gregory. He destroyed himself. I just stepped out of the way and walked toward the life I should have claimed years ago. And in the end, the woman he tried to humiliate became the woman he could never undo.